Hello and welcome back to the Book Dragon
Hey!
channel. Hi, I'm Ralph, and I am here with our fantastic author, Romany Wright, otherwise known as Ophelia Gold. She
Yeah.
is one of our longest standing authors at the Book Dragon, and so we are here for a long
Hi.
overdue
Yeah,
author
long,
interview.
long needed catch up.
Absolutely. So, Ophelia is the author of Sullen Heights and its sequel, The Fall of Sullen Heights. We've got The Prenup Problem, How to Keep Your Woman, and Cupid Romance Lovejoy, all of which
Yes.
work perfectly for our wonderful Valentine's Day theme that we have going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Ophelia, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, I've not done one of these before, so I was like, oh God, how's it work? But I knew with you we'd end up having a laugh, so I'm
Absolutely.
glad to be doing it.
Absolutely. So let's start by asking, can you give our audience a brief overview of your book, Cupid Romance Lovejoy, please?
Cupid, we're featuring this one, aren't we? Because
We
it is
certainly are.
the month of Valentine's. So yeah, you're blending it in the background. Yeah, this one was just so much fun because of course we all just know Cupid as in mythology this baby in a nappy flying around with his arrows and stuff.
Mm,
And I thought, wouldn't it be funny like putting him kind of in a real life situation where he's just like regular person, you know, sort of like sort of not quite middle age but nearly,
mm,
and just like a regular guy who
mm.
hates his job, you know, and his sole purpose is to go around giving love to us mere mortals, and we're ungrateful and we assume it's come from other places, and
Mm,
Cupid's like, no job satisfaction. Oh great, I don't even get any credit, like I've never experienced love of my own.
mm,
I can't believe this is my life, you know.
mm.
And just that idea just made me chuckle. I was like, I've got to run with this.
It's lovely, yeah. The sort of the world-weary Cupid reads really, really well. When he complains about St. Valentine at one point in the book, I really
Yeah,
enjoy that. Who
because
even is
apparently
that
no one
guy?
knows who that
Yeah,
is. Like he might not even be real. He might even be a group of people. Because I remember having to research that
yeah.
of who was this person, and it turns out no one knows. Might not have existed, and might be a group of people.
Mm,
So, so for that to sort of be named, and not for it to be Cupid's Day,
mm.
um, I think it comes from a place of just being annoyed with
Definitely.
us mere mortals.
It's exactly the kind of thing you get at work, isn't it? I did all the work and that pillock took all the
Yes,
credit.
it belongs to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely. Definitely. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll move on and talk a little bit about your writing process, if that's all right.
yeah,
We've got a lot of people who are aspiring authors, people who want to write. You're obviously a very established author. You've got 5 books now, which
yeah,
is fantastic.
yeah.
What
Sixth one
advice?
coming out this year.
Sixth one coming out this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What advice would you give a writer working on their first book?
Their first book. The only because I've read so much about like people thinking that there's like a recipe to a bestseller.
Mm,
And they think, well, if I put the drama here and then I spike it here and then romance here, and they think it's like, that there's an actual list of ingredients to equal a bestseller, and
mm,
it cannot be done. So my only advice is write what makes you feel creative, passionate. Like if you think it's a great idea, like do it, get it down.
mm.
And another thing I'd say is don't talk about it before you actually write it. I've
Right.
seen so many interviews of other authors saying the same.
Mm,
Um, like the minute you talk it into existence, it's kind of off on in the wind then,
mm.
because people are running their ideas and like, oh, I don't think that sounds good, or that doesn't sound very interesting, and it just requires that little bit of negative feedback for you not to want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, then
don't
I'll not bother then.
yeah, oh, I
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
bother
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So get it done. Don't tell anyone of your work in progress project.
Mm,
Just get it done. And as long as you're loving what you're writing, you can't go wrong.
mm. I heard recently in a writer's seminar, someone say, ideas visit people and then they leave.
Yeah.
So if your idea visits you and you choose to take advantage of it,
Yeah.
then that's fantastic, and that'll be your book. But if you don't, then that idea will go away and go to someone else, and
Yeah.
then that'll be their thing then. Um,
Yeah.
in response to people who sort of say, "Oh, well, I was going to write that book. I had that brilliant idea.
But you
I was going
didn't.
to write the Hunger Games." But then, yeah, if you
Yeah.
didn't, then it's then it's moot, isn't it?
You gotta act on it.
We'll carry on talking about your writing process then, if that's all right, because that feels like a good
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah.
What is your writing process like? Would you call yourself a plotter, someone who really looks in advance and has post-it notes all over the shop and all that, or are you a
Oh,
pantser? Are you someone who does it by the seat of your pants?
there's your answer. There's your answer.
Excellent.
I didn't even plan that to be. No, yeah, absolutely. Plot, 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 plan, plan, plan. I have done one where it was just off the cuff, and I was just like, I'll just see where it goes and just kind of do it chapter by chapter, see what happens. And it took literally like triple the time
Right.
because I was like, oh, I need a flow, I need
Mm,
a structure.
mm,
Who's coming up when? What's happening here? I always say it's basically like building a house, isn't it? You
right.
need the foundation, you need the blueprint.
Mm,
This is it. This is the template. So as long as you've got the bones of the book,
mm,
the notes don't have to make sense to anyone other than
mm.
you. Mine look like hieroglyphics. It's like it's scribbled. I've got like mad ramblings on one page. The next, it's like sections of dialogue from characters that haven't even appeared in the beginning and they
Mm,
come in later. And so it only needs to make sense to you.
mm,
But then I'd say do something like that if you can create like just get like a cork board or a magnetic board, whatever,
mm,
just so you have some structure. And then from that, you can then go in for the
mm,
real hard work. And
mm.
that is doing chapter one, chapter two,
Yeah,
and then it's building the story
yeah.
off the skeleton of it. Yeah.
The advantage of a physical object like that corkboard as well, of course, is that you can then kind of move things around if you think, oh,
Yeah.
actually, that would fit
Oh,
over
just
here
totally
instead.
toss the post-it
Yeah,
note.
yeah,
That's a terrible idea. Let's
yeah,
have a
yeah,
rewrite.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's cool. Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Um, all right, so let's ask you, which part of Cupid Romance Lovejoy was the most fun to write? It's got some lovely little scenes, one after another. Which would you
Yeah.
say was your favorite?
Someone's just asked me that, Kirsty,
All right.
the big boss of the Book Dragon,
Mm-hmm.
asked me that, and I thought it's so hard to answer. Um, all of it was funny. I said, the idea once I turned him into like just a regular guy
Mm,
who hates his job with no job satisfaction. The idea of him craving love of his own, but
mm,
trying to figure out how to get that in this world
mm,
and the modern way is online dating.
mm.
And there's a dating website called OK Cupid, isn't there? I thought
Yeah,
I can't not have that in this
definitely.
book. So he sat there, this mythical, magical person going, how do I do this?
Mm.
Right? What's this? What's an email? What's right? How do I sign this up? Well, what's that? Well, what's that picture? Well, what's
Yeah.
that say? And just seeing it through sort of brand new eyes of what that must look like
Mm,
to someone who is so used to just giving you an arrow
mm,
and then you've got it, and
mm,
he has no one like him to help himself,
mm,
so he has to truly do it on his own
mm,
and navigate in the modern world. Just the idea of real Cupid
mm.
on OK Cupid trying to find a match. I thought that's comedy
It is
gold.
very funny. It
Yeah.
is very funny. He does very well on OK Cupid, though. He has like 70 odd
he's
matches in it.
he's kind of hot. He is kind of hot. He's kind of pretty. He is.
Yeah, well, of course. Well,
Yeah.
you would hope the god of romantic
God of
attraction
love.
would be, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, last question. Do you think you have any plans for a sequel to Cupid Romance Lovejoy, or at least what's in the pipeline next?
No, I think because I've had this happen before
Mm,
where someone's read, it was actually Sullen Heights,
right.
and a friend went, when's the when's the sequel coming out? And I went, I had no plans for a
Mm,
sequel. And they were like, oh, you have to carry on with it. I have to know what happens next.
mm,
So I've given into the pressure of others wanting a sequel, but I have really seen the difference between something I want to write versus what someone's kind of told me to write.
sure.
So I think with Cupid, it was so much fun. And I
Yeah.
might go back to those characters
Yeah.
in 10 years' time.
Mm,
I think if anything comes of it, and I know off camera we've spoken about the death character,
mm,
Jeremoth.
mm.
I think if another book comes from this, I think it might be his story,
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
a Jeremoth novel. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
because that's his best friend. But I think there's a
definitely.
lot to unpack
Mm,
on the death character
mm.
because he's actually a great guy.
Yeah.
So I think that could be an interesting
Yeah,
idea.
he's beautifully written. He really is. You really feel
Yeah,
his character shine through. Um,
yeah,
and of course, the Greek pantheon has all sorts of other characters to explore, doesn't it? You could
yeah,
look at Dream or Sleep or any of those guys as well. Yeah, that would be
yeah,
fantastic. All right, okay. Thank you very
yeah.
much, Ophelia. Have you got anything you'd like to plug or to finish our lovely interview off with?
Well, I said I've got a new book coming out this year. I don't know at what time or date wise, but yeah, that's going to be another funny, satirical kind of book. Not a novel though.
Wonderful.
This one's actually going to be nonfiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, in that case, if people are interested in that, you should visit the Book Dragon website, www.thebookdragon.co.uk. Follow us on Facebook, and we'll keep everyone updated. Thank you so much, Ophelia.
Thank you. Thanks for finally having me.
Yay.
Yay.
All right.